Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I was gonna be subdued and I was gonna be professional and all that stuff. I ain't doing it. I'm getting as ignorant as I possibly can because the man at the bottom of the screen, depending on how it's configured for you, deserves to have the roses he's about to get because damn it, he earned it. Like it's a lot of shit that's gonna get said tonight that has nothing to do, or it's not him saying it, it's me.
So should we just do the disclaimer right now? Let's just do this.
Yeah, let's just get the disclaimer out. So if you got a problem with anything that gets said tonight about Coach O, about his runs, about the championships, at me and bitch, I'll meet you wherever.
Yeah. The views of the Coach O podcast, starring Coach O, are the views of the two co-hosts of What's Good America, and not the views of Coach Haran O'Neal or the Salina Liberty. We just wanted to put that out there. So it's out there, H. You know, what you say is what you say, but what we say is us. Normally, I'm even talking the intro. I'm as excited we're doing this.
Exactly.
I mean,
I'm definitely thankful y'all having me, bro. The last time was a ball, so I know this gonna be even crazier.
So
I already know.
And
so let's do it right, Chris. I'm gonna handle this. So ladies and gentlemen, our guest this evening, 4-time national champion, multiple time coach of the year.
Right.
The only coach in the history of indoor football to win a championship in 3 leagues. That is a fact. I know that to be a fact because there's barely enough that have won in 2. I think Kevin Guy might be the only other guy. Maybe Billy Beck, I don't know, NAL, that I don't know, but listen, this guy has the second most Hall of Famers in the only indoor football Hall of Fame. And the only reason why the other guy has more is because, well, we're not going to do that early in the show.
Because he got his hand tied. He got their hands in their pocket.
No, let's not do that early because I still respect those guys. Those guys are, I love them. I love them guys. Like, okay, let me keep doing this intro, Chris. Let me keep doing this intro. The guy that really birthed a revolution in Billings, the guy that made this name mean something in the world of indoor football. Because he won 3 right here. And most importantly, man, one of Chicago's finest. And I got to do that just so Chris can eat shit for this episode.
I'm not even mad at that. I ain't even mad.
This is pure South Side right here. Mount Carmel champion. Western Michigan Bronco. NFL played. He did it all. The greatest coach in indoor football history. It is not even a debate. I can't wait for this to go because it will be a debate with our peers that will debate on it, but it's the facts. He's the greatest indoor football coach of all time and one of 5 African-American men to win a championship in professional football. I believe the number is 5. It's H, it's Mike Tomlin, it's Tony Dungy, it's Dixie Wooten, and I might be missing somebody.
Coach Arvette in San Jose.
There you go. Haran O'Neal. Glad to have you back, man. It's been a year since we've had you on, but you know, this is about your time when we start smelling that grass and start smelling like summer camp out there. This is usually when Coach O makes his appearances for us, man. Thanks for being here tonight, H.
Man,
thanks for having me, man.
I'm going to get into it. Oh, you going to have a minute before you get to talk your shit, but I'm going to talk your shit for you right now. We coming out ignorant. Listen, IFL, NIFL, CIFL, AFL2, AF1, fan sports control bullshit, whatever that is. The reason why most of y'all are the way y'all are right now, the reason why most leagues are the way they are, the reason why most teams are constructed the way they are is because of this man on this screen. Now, I don't say that just because he was my coach. I don't say that just because this man got me paid a little bit when I was here. I ain't even gonna sit here in front, but that's under, we ain't gonna talk about all that. What I'm saying is the reason why most teams are constructed the way they are, where players and coaches have the relationship that they have, is because of this man. I'll be 100% honest with you. I ain't never played for a black coach. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I ain't never had a black coach. I mean, you go back to Alabama and clearly that was we won't even go down that rabbit hole because we could have had Sylvester Croom, but that got cut in half immediately. But to have a coach who's close to your age, who can coach you to the best of your ability, not to what he expects you to be, but to what he knows you can be. A man who can get everything out of you and then make you still run through a brick wall after that because I ain't do that good enough. I got to do it again.
Yeah.
Like to the point where if you look at that Outlaws team, money got put aside. Like it was like, all right, yeah, I could be making more money somewhere else. I respect this man. I'm gonna stay. It is what it is. Like he gonna help me get to where I want to do. We gonna get another championship. Like he gonna get me respected among my peers. And that's the man that we got on the show tonight. I don't know much about Salina. I can't even pronounce it half the time. But if this man coaches them anywhere close to the way he coached us, oh, this is just the first of many. Like, if not, running off a couple straight.
Well, I definitely say this. Salina gave me that opportunity once I left Dodge City. Once I did leave the IFL, that ownership group right there reminds me of the ownership group that we had in Billings. It's a little bit different. The dynamic is a little bit different, but how they treat you, it trickles down on how I feel about my players. They care for their players, they care for their coaches, they care for their support staff. That was a big piece in why we were very successful in Billings. All the different owners that we had, they cared about the players. They played about it. They cared about the city. They wanted to do something that the city be proud of. And I'm just so thankful that we did pull it home for Salina this year. We played in now 3 in a row in Salina. We finally got one. So like I always kept saying to them, you can only, to win a championship, you got to be in the championship game. So if you continuously put yourself there, you got a dang good shot of winning them. It's a 50-50 shot. Some unforeseen things happened in the first 2 that were the first in my life that I've seen with a championship on the line, some of those things that happened. But the thing that I love about it is we had probably about 3 or 4 players that were there from the inception of me going to Salina to getting that championship. And it was really for them to show that, you know, they didn't go chase the money like the others did. They didn't go for clout and do this, that, and another. They stayed loyal to the coach that brought them into the CIF. So I'm definitely thankful. Debo, which was my center, he was the linchpin into what we were doing on the offensive line, as well as just him helping me coach that offensive line. He was the key to what we do. We moved him around. He played center. He played guard. He basically played over the best player on their defensive line. Tracy Brooks was my MVP running back, but he got a little bit banged up, beat up a little bit this year, but he stayed loyal to the Salina Liberty. Fast Ed, the fastest receiver in the league. He's actually playing for a championship in Quad City. He moved on up there, and he'll come back to Salina once the season's over. And then D-Trey Matthews is another guy, defensive back, that stayed loyal. It's a couple others as well, but K-Hop, he was the guy that has 75 interceptions in indoor football. You know, all of those guys stayed loyal. They stayed to the strip. Travis Taylor is another one. All those guys stayed loyal. They didn't move around. They stayed with me all the way through. They were the only ones that actually stayed. Everybody else kind of defected for whatever reason, more money, more clout, more whatever, just because maybe they didn't like me. Maybe they just want to move on. Who cares? But we're the champs this year. Definitely happy about that. It's a long time coming, 12 years in between. To get my 4th one is huge. But I mean, I'm still celebrating. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I go to Cabo here in a day or so for a week, and we're going to celebrate it even more. So I'm still celebrating because championships don't just grow on trees. And I found that out the hard way of how hard it is to win a championship. You can have the best team, you got the best coaches, you can have the best organization, all of that. The football guys are going to choose who the football guys choose. And all you can do is continuously be consistent and being in the championship game to have an opportunity to win a championship. So that's the most shit that I probably have talked on.
Hold on.
Wait a minute, Chris. Wait a minute, Chris. I want to jump in there because I want to keep him. I want to keep him going a little bit, and I'm gonna keep a little cookie cutter for a while because I want to ask him this because we were talking about it a little bit before we came online here, three of us together. I think just in getting that out, talk about just kind of that 12 years. I mean, just kind of sum it up. I mean, obviously, you and I have been in contact for the majority of it. You know, it's a known unknown, but I mean, just talk about like when we ceased in 2010, you know, and just, you know, Colorado, you know, actually, you know, if really wanted Kent and then Colorado, and, you know, being there in Dodge City and then finally getting that opportunity in Salina and just that 12-year period. Because we're guys, you know, just to remind you guys, talk about a guy that his first head coaching job, within 5 years, he won 3 titles. And the 2 years he lost to the champion. So this is a guy that was accustomed to building a team and I'm either losing to the champion or I'm beating the brakes off you the championship, because every championship game he played in, he won by 2 scores, minimum. So I kind of talk about those 12 years and, you know, after we, you know, ended our run in 2010 and just what you've been building towards to get to this point to celebrate.
Well, I would say it's been a long 12 years, a tough 12 years. When that Billings team did go down, it felt like a piece of me died because I felt like we left at least 3 to 4, 5 championships here in Billings. We had the team constructed the way we needed to have it constructed. We had the right ownership group. We had the fans that we sold out our last 2 championship games in 2 different venues. So to have close to 10,000 fans at the Metro, that's never been seen in the IFL before that point, until they went into got bigger stadiums and anything. And then when the tornado did hit our building there in 2010, we had it at the Sportsplex, and we sold that place out. It was 1,500 people in that place. So to go from that to basically being a nomad, so to say, is how I feel about it. Not really having a home. Yes, Colorado was home for 5 years or so. And I do thank Mr. Wigley, Tom Wigley. He's also a Hall of Famer for doing what he did and making sure that I was well taken care of, putting me in the spots that I needed to be in to be able to contend and things of that nature. But it was still something missing. It wasn't as it was like when it was in Billings. Billings was different, very special point in my life. So was Colorado. But when Colorado ended the way it ended, with Mr. Wigley getting sick, and I had to move on. And that was, you know, the second time that a team basically got ripped right from underneath my feet. And it hurt. I'm not going to sit there and lie. It took me a minute emotionally, physically, mentally to bounce back from that because it was different for the simple fact now I do have a daughter. I do have, you know, a wife. You know, it wasn't just me going to the next team. So that was tough. And me and Nisha, we struggled with that for at least 2 years. And then, you know, Salina came and that kind of helped in the beginning, just to get back out there, get my feet back wet, to being a head coach and things of that nature. But it was a lot that I had to patch up and prove to my wife, and understanding that every move that I make directly affects her and my family. And that was the first time in my life that I had to really put that in perspective and be put to the test. And true, I had nothing to do with, you know, Billings going dark for those years because of the unforeseen circumstances that had nothing to do with me.
Oh, we know who it was.
Well, I'm not going to get to that.
I talked about on the news 12 years ago. I think there's still quotes.
It had nothing to do with me. Colorado, owner got sick. So it was just two organizations that right when we were getting ready to do our thing, it felt like it just got ripped from underneath me. Salina, I'm starting to feel that way of how I felt when I was in Billings, getting that. The love that I get from this ownership group is different. It's a different type of love. They care about me on and off the field as well as my family. A lot of things that we have to endure there in Salina, we work our way through it together. So definitely happy, understanding that, you know, championships don't come around too often, and they were so thirsty for it. I mean, for a team that were 3 wins and 21 losses the 2 years before I got there to Salina, everybody was saying I was crazy for taking that opportunity. Why don't you go back to the IFL? I seen an opportunity like I always seen. I mean, every coaching job I've ever had, I never had it where it was all lush. Basically, when I went to Wyoming, they were 4-10 before I got there, got them to the playoffs. Then I went to Billings. I think they were 1-14 before I got there, won the championship the next year. Colorado, the year before I got there, they were below 500, got them to a playoff game. Go to Dodge City. I think that was the best situation I was in because I think they were a playoff team before I got there, but I was just the D coordinator there and recruiting coordinator. But to go to Salina with only 3 wins and 21 losses, that was something that very much interested me, to show people that it's not all about this or that. It's hard work is what it comes down to. It's knowledge, it's experience that you draw upon to get what you need to get out of the different ball players we recruited and when we're playing. To show that ownership group the right way of how to do this. They had no clue. It was so hard that first couple of years of trying to explain things. And when you have 5 and 6 different owners, and then you have to explain it 5 and 6 different times, it kind of get a little redundant. It gets frustrating at times, but they stuck through. They stayed true to who they were. They listened. That was the key piece. They listened. They didn't think they knew it all or anything like that. And I'm not saying that I know it all, but I know enough to get you to be a contender every year. And that's what I think I proved with not just winning this championship, but being a consistent playoff team, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league since I stepped foot into the CIF. I think I proved my worth. And then I think that Hall of Fame in 2021, you know, began that to cement what I already knew way back when I first started coaching.
So, let me, I ain't gonna give you a cookie cutter question. I'm gonna have you brag about yourself a little bit. I'm gonna make you do it. So you've coached the greatest indoor football quarterback of all time. You've coached arguably one of the greatest wide receivers of indoor football of all time. You've coached some of the greatest defensive backs in indoor football of all time. You've coached some of the greatest O-linemen of indoor football of all time. You've coached arguably the greatest, I'm gonna toot my own damn horn. You've coached the greatest 3 guys of indoor football that's D linemen that work together of all time. What makes us, what makes people want to be loyal to you? Like what makes me turn down the money that was in Chicago to come back and play for the Outlaws to get that 2010 championship? Like, what is it that brings all of us back to you?
I think it's the statement that's overused, but real recognize real. I'm a very genuine person.
Facts.
I'm going to say what I feel at all times. I'm going to also have that open door, though, to listen to your points as a player. Most coaches are not trying to hear anything that a player is saying. They just do what I tell you to do. I'm paying you, shut the hell up. Yeah. I'm not one of those. I'm going to listen to what my players are saying because sometimes they may have a better way of doing things. I think that is one of the biggest components. I think also when you see, I'm a great at, how can you say it? Letting you see my vision. I'm great at displaying that, showing you through the history of what I've been able to do as a coach. You can see the vision in which I put forth in front of my team. You're going to play hard or you're not going to be there. That's the difference. I'm going to hold you accountable for everything that you do. And just because, I mean, I'm held accountable when we lose a game. Do you think Mike P was saying hey, coach, it'll be okay. Don't worry. But hell no, Mike Pete wasn't saying that at all. Just like when we lose a game in Salina, them dudes ain't happy. Sometimes they don't even talk to me for weeks, when we lose the game. So I believe in holding people accountable. I do believe in having that rapport with my players where I get to know them off the field. I think that's the biggest secret that I have, that all my players know, that a lot of owners don't know that. They call it fraternizing with players, but it's not fraternizing with players. It's getting to know your player. I got my degree from Western Michigan, but my minor is in sociology. And sociology is, the study of society. So I like to put different people in boxes. You can't put people in boxes if you don't know who the person is itself. Fuck the football player. I want to know the person. And I drive home that point when I'm out with them. We go shoot pool. We could go play PlayStation. We could play spades. We could be at a barbecue. We could be wherever. We could be whatever.
Dice games on that
table. Shooting dice. I mean, that's what we do. I mean, I'm from the inner city of Chicago. That's how we have fun. So when you're doing those different things, but I mean, that's how you find out about your players. And if you fake, your players will be the first one to see that and see what you're trying to derive to, and they will cut you off at the pass and they won't even let you in. And I think that's what it is with me is I'm not doing it just to have you be a better football player. I'm trying to do it for you to be a better person, better citizen in this world, to tell you the different experiences that I went through as a African-American man coming from where I came from, the city of Chicago. It was not easy. And I think that relation of that is what my players see, but I can also relate to Black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian. It doesn't matter your relationship, your ethnicity. It has everything to do with, do you see what's in my heart? Can you feel what I'm saying? I'm going to show you the way to get it done. All you got to do is listen. And those 4 principles is what I live by. And I know that's what has made me successful is my players. That's why I always give my players the love. I'm just a recipient, the first recipient or second or third recipient or whatever from the Villains Outlaws, but we need to get more players in there. It was good to see that, we're getting nominated and all that good stuff, but I mean, James Walton, you need to be in. Chris Turner, you need to be in. Chris Turner, to be honest, you're probably one of the most underappreciated defensive linemen to ever play in IFL history, to be honest. But tell me this, tell me another nose guard that can beat you with quickness, can beat you with technique, but can also beat you with raw, unadulterated strength, where we go base and you're taking whoever the center is, don't care who he is, back 6 yards. I mean, there has not been another nose guard that's done stuff like that besides Mike Landry, in my opinion. I mean, Corey Johnson was good at taking an A-gap, but as far as just pushing the center back consistently 5 yards back in the backfield, I haven't seen anybody do that besides you and Mike Landry. So, I mean, other people, Robert Reed is another one. Mike Bazemore, Michael Eby, Trevani Johnson, Joey Longoria, Javon Jackson. It's the list go on and on and on. I don't understand. I do understand. I had a conversation with Chris Dixon a couple of days ago, and I told him why I've been posting some of the things that I've been posting. And it was basically just to remind people about what was done previous to 2015 IFL-wise, because it seemed like previous 2015, there's nothing written, there's nothing talked about, there's no historical facts about none of that stuff. So that's why I've been posting some of the things. That's why I've been posting some of my records. That's not really me. I'm not a braggadocious type dude, but sometimes if you don't toot your own horn, it won't get tooted. So that's why I've been doing what is to play for me. Some of that love to help me win championships, to get them into that IFL Hall of Fame as well.
I respect it.
You know what's crazy? And a couple things I thought about with that. Just thinking about the two of us here. Obviously a couple of favorite stories. I'll get into those and I'll tell them short because I've told we talk about me and his all the time. But what I did, and I actually enjoyed the fact that Nate Fluid went in this year. He was one of the best players I ever saw play. And when he went in and seeing Nate go in and he didn't play a snap in the IFL, that was like a Pandora's box to me of like, what's really happening here? You know, Mark Blackburn, we played him in 09, 10. You know, Terrence, we played Terrence. But when I saw Nate go in, because Nate and I were all leagued together down in Bloomington, and we'll keep those stories to ourselves, Age. Chris missed out on good times. You know, that was a Pandora's box. I wanted to really, on that sociology tip, there's two things I wanted to bring up just to kind of back up. And when I think about you and your influence as a coach, Chris Turner stands out to me probably the most. And to me, it is still the greatest thing I've ever seen in the history of indoor football. Do you remember the Fairbanks game? Because Chris has told me the story of what you told him before that game. And we have talked about it on this show, but I don't know if we've got recorded history, and we need this history because these are the examples. So America, I'm going to allow Chris Turner to tell you what Coach O told him. I think we were 2-0 going into that game. We beat the brakes off of Sioux City like bad. That was everybody was first team all league after that game. Felt bad for Sioux City because I like them guys. But that 82-12, it was a whooping. And some of us got graded 6 out of 10s in that game. So me. So you know, that's how bad of a whooping it was. And then we went to Colorado, and I got fined in Colorado the next week. But we won because we never played well there. Playing for Colorado, understood it. We never played well there. We found a way to win, but it was always a disaster there.
Always an ugly game.
So Chris, tell America what Coach O told you before the Fairbanks game.
I'll be quick. So I didn't play.
Wait, hold on. I messed the chronology. We came back and we played Omaha. We played Omaha after that.
Yeah.
I take it back. And we played well versus Omaha. We were 3-0. And then Fairbanks came down. Now tell them what Coach O said to you for the Fairbanks game.
I didn't play the Sioux City game because I had just got in, I want to say like the day of the game or like a day before the game or whatever, and just didn't play that game because I was new to the team, didn't know anything about it. Played the Colorado game, did decent. Played the next game, did in the Omaha game and did all right. So having a shitty week of practice and everything, just kind of going through the motions because like I was used to getting San Jose money compared to the outlaw money. So I was in my shit a little bit. So before the game, O sat me in the office and we sitting there talking and like he pulled up the film of their center. 6'4", 6'5" white boy, about 300. Hey, he played for the Detroit Lions. You're gonna get your ass handed to you. Keep going out there bullshit.
AFL boys up there. Oh, I remember that in 09. Yeah.
And he was just like, he went on for like 10 minutes. So, this dude gonna look your ass because you ain't been playing good and all that Alabama shit out the window. And maybe you are overrated. Maybe I should have waited for Hole to come back. Maybe I should start Bonner this game. And like he just laid into me and left and dismissed me from the office. So the game rolled around and like now I'm in my head because I'm pissed off at O. Going through everything. O come up to me right before the game. Gonna point to dude. That's him right there. Yeah, he was with the Detroit Lions for a good year and a half. And he do this and he do that. And they got, you see the big boy behind him, the big fullback. Yeah, he played at the University of San Jose and like just laid into me.
They had some names. I remember that about those Fairbanks teams. Them guys.
And I'm sitting there looking like, damn, like I've been there too. Like I've been to the league. Look at the school I came from. Like, look at me. Like what the deal is, bro?
All right, all right. Hold up, CT, because like you gotta let me tell the ending of the story.
Go ahead.
Okay, because listen, This is when Chris Turner didn't already know, but he was going to become my best friend at this point. Because, you had been around the game damn near 30 years now at this point. You know, we want to add, old school Panther leagues and the JFLs, you've been around the game a minute. America, when I tell you, and I had a great view because it happened right by our bench because we were up like a shit ton to nothing, and I was done by that point. I was watching America. This team was so good. You wanted to, like, for me, I wanted to get out of the game because I wanted to watch my teammates play because I knew what O had surrounded me with. I was like, that deep. To this day, it is no disrespect even to the reigning champions. There's nothing like that 09 defense. Point is, Chris Turner, who has been disrespected, as he told you,
for a week,
coach, the right
for
way,
a week, bro.
Respectfully disrespected, right?
For a week straight.
The two guys next to him have been running amok in the league. Okay, he's playing next to guys that were looking at each other like, well, which one of us is going to be defensive player of the year? Because we got this nose guard that's pretty good, and we whooping every guard in this league. So Chris, listen, the only other time I've ever seen this is in the movies. Justin Rummel, bless his heart, he was a good quarterback. Starts rolling left to make a play.
Oh boy.
Chris Turner.
Oh boy.
Chris Turner runs 4.7, okay? And he was 4.7 still at this point. He was still a very young man. Rummel got this throw off. And Chris Turner on the legal step picked this. Only time I've ever seen this is in the blind side. He blindsided this quarterback. He picked up Rummel. Remember this shit, He picked him up and threw him over the boards. And the stadium.
Like, oh my God.
The stadium went, oh. And I was like, oh shit.
You don't understand.
I ain't never seen nothing like that, bro.
Greatest thing
that was a lot of frustration coming out right there, dog.
He let it all out. I've never seen anything like that in my life, in real life.
I got another one though, bro. When he hit Terrence Bryant in Sioux Falls, when we broke their streak, he hit him one time on that wall over there, bro. It's like the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting. That mug just got lit. I'm like, oh my God. And that's how I knew we got them. It's over. Yeah. It is over.
Yeah, that game.
I remember that.
And America,
let me explain this real quick.
That's Coach O, though, man. That's Coach O. Like, that is Coach O. Like, that's a head coach. That's the great ones you hear
and
about.
That's the thing. Like, I've been coached my entire life. My mom's husband was my coach for the longest and everything else. Like, I'm not the type of player where I could be like patted on the back. Like, hey, man, you're doing a great job. Just, you got to do a little bit better. Like, I'm not that type. And to be disrespected by a coach I've only known for about a good week and a half. Now, mind you, the whole time.
Wait, and your only black coach.
My only
ever had.
Like, I got a brother as a head
the
coach.
Homie?
And this man
the homie's dogging me?
Like, he is disrespecting the living shit out of me right now. Like nothing I did mattered at all. And like this fair-based game, and like, all right, I'm gonna show this motherfucker, man. I'm sick of this. I'm so sick of this dude. Cause even in the film, all right, boom, we got Bays. Here go a sack. Here go Landry. Here go a sack. Mind you, I got the center behind the quarterback. Like what? I don't get nothing. And like, it was just that game. Like he knew, like, all right, he's still a little bit wound up. Let me just turn him loose. Let me see what he can do when he pissed off. And like that game,
he knew,
was just like, all right, I'm gonna show this dude. And it felt good because after the game, like, he was the first one to come up to me and be like, all right, I knew that was in you. Why I gotta piss you off for you to do that? Why can't you just step on the field and that happens? Why I gotta do this on a Monday, on a Tuesday, all week long for you to do what you can naturally do? So now, man, from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate you and I respect you. And like I can only hope and I only know that there's more championships to come because if you coaching them like you coached us, the league you in got hell to pay.
Right?
I definitely appreciate
No,
that,
he
bro.
is.
But I always say this right here. Once you show it to me of what I knew was already inside of you, Chris, I still say this to this day. You know you ain't fucked up now.
Yeah.
I know you can do it. So
Yeah,
now you
that
got to
Bill
do it
Duke.
all the fucking time.
Hey, Walt.
That Bill Duke? Hey, hit him with that Bill Duke.
Yeah.
Hey, so we playing against Coach O, right? Coach O in Colorado. And like I'm playing with the Wolves or whatever. Honestly, I'm just collecting the check. So I'm holding their center up, letting the ends go and do whatever they do. They center talking shit. All right, dude, like calm down, bro. Like, calm down. Like you're not really doing it. I'm letting you do this. So finally I make a play on the sideline or whatever by O. Like, oh, get your boy. Cause I'm getting pissed off. And like, looked over there to the center, was like, hey, just play.
Oh, don't
play the
turn this
game.
man up, man. Let them sleep. Let a sleeping bear sleep.
And
Yeah.
sure enough, that motherfucker said something else. All right, man, I'm tired of him. And like it was a wrap for the rest of that game.
True.
Man.
It was hell to be paid. I told him, shut
Chris.
your damn mouth, man.
Hey,
Leave
on
him alone.
two bad ankles and blowing up the center. Hey, he was on two bad
Exactly.
ankles.
Yeah, that's what. But hey, he had that dog, man, inside of him, and
Man,
I knew. I forget who the center was. I kept telling, just be quiet.
that's it.
Don't wake that man up because it's not gonna end well for you, bro. It's not. Oh, I'm handling him. You said he was this. You said he was that. You said he was this, bro. You about to see all of that and then some, and you about to get cut. You're gonna cut yourself. You better leave the dude alone. And Chris turned up. I think I cut him after that, though, for real. Because I'm like, dude, you don't let him keep sleeping. Let that bear hibernate. Oh, man.
All right. Let me do this, Oaks. I'm gonna parlay this into a question. So I'm gonna tell my favorite Coach O story about me, and I'm gonna tell the short version because me and Coach O, we have it's not a complicated relationship at all because he's literally one of my best friends. Like he's the guy that I don't have to talk to, and we can call each other every 6 months, and we'll talk for 4 hours. Like literally, we'll talk 4 hours.
True.
One of us will go like, listen, one of us has got to say we got to go, or we'll just keep going, right? So, America, I'm gonna tell the short form of this. So, Coach O and I met in 2007 as opponents, and this is what's going to lead me to my question. And obviously, it was the Bloomington years. We got them 1 year because they were banged up to all hell. They drove all the way from Billings and stopped in St. Louis. Chris got concussed. Poor Robert had to play quarterback against us. We were pretty good in 07. Robert was like, I'm done with this. Like, we got to try to go west. So we beat them pretty bad. And then 08, we got to come up there, and it's the battle of, we're the number 1 seed in the East. And by number 1 seed, Chris, I mean, we finished the season 8-8. So our division was garbage. Anyway, Billings proceeds to beat the brakes out of us. I get my ass whooped for 60 minutes. And I said, I'll never go to Billings again. All right, so I'm setting that scenario, right? Okay. And the story I want to tell about Coach O that he and I talk about all the time, and I tell people this all the time when I talk about you. Fairbanks seems just to be the team to just talk about these things because all these things happen versus Fairbanks. But this is a different game. Same season, different game. So we were up there and we knew Fairbanks was coming. Like, Ponder was starting to figure it out. They had talented guys, and we went up there and it was towards the kind of the back end of getting Robert Red, and we were starting to figure some things out. And we were just trying to close the game out. I think we were up maybe 1 score. We were backed up on the 1. It was like 3rd and 9. And Coach O called timeout. And now, mind you, so Coach O and Chris, and there's a picture that I used to love that I always respected, and I didn't know when I could make that. There was always a picture of Coach O, Chris, and Robert Reed.
Well, hold on. Since you brought that up, let me show you that picture.
Yeah.
I still have here.
Yeah. He's mobile. That picture right there.
That's hanging up right there.
That's the picture.
Right next to my. Yes.
That's
I just
the
wanted to
picture.
show that for the people.
Oh, that's beautiful. God, this is already my favorite podcast of all time. That is literally a picture that was in Coach O's office at the Plex, right? And you're just trying to earn your way into that because I understood that brain trust. That brain trust is what got me to be an outlaw and be a champion. It was those three guys. They called me within minutes of each other, and I pissed all three of them off. Okay, so
You was very flagrant.
yeah, I was super flagrant back in 08. I was really emotional. Like losing to Sioux Falls. That's why I love those guys. Losing to them and you lose to them the way you lose to them, it'll mess with your headspace for a while. And I was still in a bad headspace. So I remember that, and I hadn't ever walked over to O and Chris yet in that whole season. And I'm leading the world in touchdowns. I'm talking CFL, NFL Europe, NFL Asia at that point. Like it had been a pretty good year. So like we're trying to close this game out, and I get the balls like, all right, I've been pretty hot. I'm gonna walk over there and just see what they're talking about, so I see what's going on. And Coach O, literally, he was like, "Well, what do you think?" And Chris was like, "Yeah, I want to see what he's gonna say. This should be fun." And I said, "Oh, this is what I see. They're playing a straight cover zero. Let's run all hitches. Come to your boy. I will fall forward. I'm 6'3". I'll get the first down and get out of here." And I'll never forget this. And this is how our relationship was from jump. And this is what I'm saying. He handled everybody different. And in that game, he looked at me and he said, "What you think, Chris?" He said, "All hitches." Coach O looked at me and said, "All right, it's on you. We're going to run the play that you called." Now, when you play with the greatest quarterback and arguably the greatest indoor football player of all time, it makes all these things when you call something out really easy. And then you also have one of the greatest indoor wide receivers on the other side of the formation. So they do exactly what I thought it was going to be. They've been playing us basically cover zero. And we all hitches. And Chris threw me inside. And this is what Coach O preached to me about just working hard, which he knew I had that in me. He had to get it out of me. But we were telling a story about how he had to remind me, don't ever lay him. I love you, gave it all. Just do your throwing up and crying on the track. Don't do it on the field. And Chris throws me inside, and I slip a tackle. Now I slip a tackle. It's still the longest touchdown. I'm tied for the longest touchdown still in the history of that league. 49 yards. It's the first 49-yard touchdown in the history of that league. And because Coach O looked at me and said, "We're going to go with your play." What is it about you? This is how I parlay this when bring up both these stories. That has the ability for so many years. What is it that you see that you're able to see the Allie Culpeppers, the Etu Moldens, the Robert Reeds, the Artavius Williamses, Q Brackenridge, and being able to put him in the right space, the Michael Ebies, Tough Johnsons, Gaddafi Tunsil's, Mania Smiths. I mean, guys, I love all you guys. I can name all you guys. Charlie Seniors. I could name 45 guys that have been all league first team and have been all world. What is it about you that you're able to see that guy and put them into your world and win?
I can't take any credit for that. I think it's a blessing from God. I love to play chess. So in the game of chess, the way I think of the game of chess, you got to think 3 and 4 moves ahead off of one move. And you got to derive your answer from where everybody else is on that board. I relay that to the football field. I relay that to how I am in life. It's a lot of thinking that go into it, but to be honest, it's a gut feel that was given to me by God. Yes, I can see talent. I can see it from a mile away. I don't care where you went. Like you just named players that some of them were D1, some were NAIA, but they come to where I go get them. They fit into what I'm trying to do. And the key thing with me is just having them believe in the scheme. The scheme is going to get you open as a receiver if we're reading it correctly at quarterback. If he's protected well with the offensive line, if the receiver runs the right route at the right depth. So all of those little things add up to the big things. A lot of coaches can X and O, yes, I give them that, but they can't infer. They can't change their scheme. They can't move the next chess piece. They can't see a chance for a young guy to be a legend. They don't see that in different people. It comes down to trust. That play that you're talking about, I remember vividly. I definitely remember vividly. And yes, I knew what you were fucking capable of, but I had to see it in a clutch situation with the game on the line for us. And it was always about what I need to see you do it for me and my scheme in front of me with my own eyes, not on film. Because, I mean, you got to understand. Well, I know you understand. You coming off, MVP years down there in Bloomington. The thing that they would always say, he's volatile, he's flagrant and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's just passion. That's all that is passion. He wants to fucking win.
Yeah, 07,
that's all that was about.
07, I was drunk. 08, I really wanted that. I wanted that MVP so bad. Yeah, so you're right. I was very volatile those first 2 years. I was out of control.
But I've had players like you, and I know how to deal with that. I mean, I've seen it at the highest level. I mean, I played in the NFL. I played with a guy by the name of Deion Figures. And he was a little bit,
Figures.
Yeah, he was a little different too, And I also played with Donovan Darius, who, he just want to hit something. He was crazy though. Like
he's a hell of a player.
Tony Brackens, defensive end for University of Texas. But I seen how Tom Coughlin kept them all together. And at that point, I'm still trying to make a football team and stay on the football team. But it kind of go back to Mount Carmel, bro, where I was one of 4 Black players to play that year on Mount Carmel team because Black players didn't really play there.
They did not in those days. Go ahead and name drop those 4 Black players.
Oh, Donovan McNabb, Simeon Rice. It was 5 then because we also had myself. Then we also had Joe Glass, Joe See-Through. That's my dude. He raps and do his thing. And then Toriano Woods. He went to University of Illinois as a receiver as well.
Yep.
But we were the only Black dudes actually playing. Everybody else were, white guys and things of that nature. But, and Terrell Smith. I can't forget about Terrell. That's my boy right there. He could have went to Nebraska, but had some unfortunate things happen as well. But those were my 2 or 3 years on the varsity. Those were the Black players that actually played. And just to see how Coach Lenny, who I didn't see eye to eye with, he was all about, team and this. And I'm coming from, Chicago, I got to drive 40 minutes to go to school, to go to Mount Carmel. But what I'm looking at on TV is the University of Miami. That was my favorite team. I'm looking at the Michael Irvins of the world. I'm looking at Florida State. I'm looking at Deion Sanders, and they talking. They doing all this, and I want to do all that, but not at Mount Carmel. You ain't. The thing that they showed me.
Yeah, Chris,
was discipline, bro.
Linty is the Nick Saban of Illinois high school football. This dude, I'm telling you, it was iron fist.
Absolutely.
He was the most loved and hated guy at the same time. Like he was that dude. Like.
A monster, bro. And then his staff was so stupid. His defensive coordinator was his brother, who is still the defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, at Mount Carmel to this day. That we ran that 3-4 defense, and we had Simeon Rice basically playing D tackle. He wasn't even playing the outside linebacker D end stand up. He was playing D tackle. So brilliant coaching. How they thought about all of this, how they kept everybody in check, how they kept everybody hungry. I kind of go back to that. Frank Lenny, I owe him a lot, man, because he taught me that. But I'll take it even further back. Is my dad. My dad was my first coach. He was one that, you know, I was my junior year, I was all region. I was all state. I was one of the top defensive backs in 4 states.
Super
My dad
25,
still
Tom Lemming.
Yeah. And my dad still didn't give me no love. I mean, I got a scholarship. I got offers from all over. I just went to a school that I know I can play early.
Right.
And then I get to the NFL, and I remember this vividly. I come home, and my dad is, you know, he was going through prostate cancer. And I see him in the hospital and this, that, and another. And he was sitting there, he talking and whatever. And I'm like, man, you know, I'm in the league, you know, all this type shit. And my dad was like, you ain't playing, though. You ain't playing. So what you all happy for? You need to be out there playing. Once you out there playing and doing, he was never satisfied. And that drive, like he said, like how I get on Chris Turner, how I got on you, how I get on all these players, that's how my dad used to get on me. That's where I got it from. So it's like, it wasn't that it was, I was born in that type motivation. You know, my father didn't play no games, none at all. And if you want to shoot the fade, he will shoot that fade with you to this day. He's almost 80 years old. He will shoot that fade with you. He don't care. So, I mean, that's where all of that stuff come from. Is what's inside of me, man. It was God gifted, yes. But the genes of what my father has done with me when it comes to this athletics and what my mom has done with me as far as just living life and how to live the right way and the discipline that Frank Lenny put in me, and you know, Dick Jerome when I was in the NFL those 2 years, how the scheme of what he taught us is the same scheme I'm running right now. Is the same scheme that Chris Turner ran way back in the day. It's the same fucking defense. But it's just everybody want to know the secret of the defense and this and that and blase ski, or what's the secret of the offense. It's not the play, it's when you call it. And that's what people don't understand. They try to steal your play. And that's great. Like my friends always say, that's the greatest form of flattery is when somebody steals something that you created. That means you're successful. It's a good play. It's a good scheme. It's a good this, that, and another. But if you don't know when to call it, what good is the play? You know, but that's something that you got to have that gut feel of when to call certain plays and when to put different things in and when to instill different things into different ball players that you want to be the leaders of your team and for them to hold that fort down. So I say it's a blessing from God as well as a lot of great people in my life that I took a lot from.
I'm gonna unleash CT. He's been holding some stuff in there, I think. Go ahead, CT. Let it out, right. Chocolate pudding.
I'm gonna try to hold it a little bit. So one, like I respect the hell out of like you call the right play at the right time because you did a damn good job with us. I will say I can give you all the credit because like I had a coach my freshman year at State, like he was really adamant about the D-line needs to know what the hell the secondary doing so that you can know what you need to do. But I can remember a couple of times in 09 where it was just like Coach P was over there trying to tell us something and like you come over and like, no, fuck that. Go make a play. Like that's what it comes down to. Like, you know they running zero, so you got to get back there quick. Go make a play. And it translates well because when you got guys, because like you honestly, like a couple minutes ago, you just broke down how you ran an offense. But at the same time, like, quote unquote, you're a defensive guy. Like that says,
don't judge me. This is the best conversation we've had.
It says a lot about you where you know enough about the game to give a Chris Dixon, all right, dude, you got free reign to a certain point. Like, listen, within my construct of what I want done, go do that your way, but under my control.
Hey,
and at the
Chris,
same time,
hey, I never made it that far up the list. I could never get into that Friday meeting. I almost got there. I never got there. I thought year 2 I'd be in and they'd be like, yeah, we love you. Like, yeah, you're number 3, but you're going in.
But here's the thing. Well, at the same time, like you'll have an IFL indoor legend. Like, all right, listen, you got free reign to do whatever you want to do under my tutelage, under what I have set forth for the game plan. But then defensively, because you're a defensive guy, you got essentially up front, you had 4 loose fucking cannons, like just point us in the right direction. Because between me, Landry, Bazemore was a bit more cerebral with what he did. Like Bazemore had a plan. He gonna work his plan. He gonna set up, and then go. But between me, Landry, and Kelly Rouse, it's legitimately just like, all right, I'm gonna keep running into this wall until the wall break down. And I respect that as a coach because like you just got to a point like, listen, go make a play. You are better than the person in front of you. I can call 23. I can call 32. I can call all this. If you ain't gonna make a play, it'll make no damn good. So it's 1-on-1. I'm gonna send Kelly up the A gap. Somebody go hit somebody. So man, as a player, like if I ever decided to really get into coaches, like that's something I would have to do because like you had enough trust in us where it was just like, all right, y'all know what y'all doing. We didn't hammer it in. You know what they gonna do. You know what the secondary doing. The secondary know what y'all doing. What else you need? Like that was just play. Yeah, go make the play. So man, I respect the hell out of that. So to get into the petty, because I feel like we've been good.
Yeah, I actually have a couple of petty ones too. Like I got some things. He might have to make some choices here. He's going to make some choices at some point. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna be brief because I know we got to get into give me a minute and all that, and I don't want this to run like so long. But how good did it feel to beat the Outlaws? And don't give me this shit like, oh, it's just another team.
Well,
blah blah blah. How good did it feel?
No, it's not. It wasn't. It was not just another team. And you know, with me not being able to come up here for that first game, and just to hear all the things that was being said around town, you know, and then I came the week after that, and I came to the game secretly. A lot of people didn't even know. I came to that next game against Southwest Kansas. And I just wanted to peep the scene and just see if it was just like it was when I walked that sideline.
Things that were said.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Oh, please indulge me.
Oh
yeah, you know,
God.
like you
Could
know,
you indulge me?
But basically, people were basically just saying, you know, we're the real Outlaws now, and we got this championship. We already beat you last week, and blah blah blah. But you didn't beat me because I wasn't there. It's a little bit different. So when they came to Salina, the first game, the first time we played them after that point when all that was going on, we beat them. I ain't gonna talk no mess on comments that was made after that game by some of their people that said, oh, we did this and we did this, we messed up this, we messed up this. So all they did was give us bulletin board material. So when we played them in the playoffs in the semifinal game, now this is where we talk our shit at, because this is the one that actually mattered. Here's the tiebreaker. So all that mess that was said throughout the year, not giving us any respect, was why we beat their ass when we played them in Salina to go to the national championship game. And no offense to Coach Theo. Theo did as good as he could do. No offense to Coach all that.
Shout out Theo, man.
But my thing is,
so shout out.
Yeah, and he got put in a very difficult situation with a lot of different things going on. The head coach was on medical leave, and then fucking the thing that happened in Billings. You know, I mean, all of that mess went down, and what was constant? Theo standing there taking all those bullets. So this is no jab at him. But it was certain things that were said that got back to me that motivated me, and I used that as bulletin board material. So when we won that semifinal game, not the game that we beat them in the regular season, that was whatever, but it were things that were said to me in my face in that game by certain people that remain nameless that motivated me to do what I needed to do. So when we did win that game, I wanted to see all the smoke from all those people that were talking all that shit. All I got was great game, coach. You're a great coach. You just, I was like, oh, okay. That was all I was waiting for. Give me my respect. Don't disrespect me and my organization like that, bro. So it felt great to beat Billings 2-0 this year when I was coaching. It felt awesome. I loved it. So I'm not gonna sit here and stud about that. I loved it.
Allow me to bring the petty. Allow me. So that's what I do. So you know, I work at the bar on the Fridays and Saturdays nights, little extra cash, whatever. So they come in, oh yeah, we beat Slime. That's cool. Like, but O wasn't coaching. Man, that shit don't matter. It's gonna be even worse. Yeah, O wasn't coaching though. Man, it don't matter. So you played your best game, and you pretty much show O the best of what you had, and y'all barely still won, right? Well, it don't matter. So I said, so what y'all did? I said, no disrespect to you win, bro. Like y'all still feel like y'all the real outlaws, whatever. I mean, more power to you. Yeah. Oh yeah. They said that
Yeah,
shit a
that's
lot.
what that was repeatedly up
They
here,
said
bro.
that
I
a
was like,
lot.
real?
They said that a
Yes.
lot. I said, more power to you. But what you just did was, I said, one, it's hard to beat O twice. Like it's just, it's hard. I said, but you sat there and you beat him and you pulled out every trick in the book, and he got a chance to just watch it all. Like he got a chance to sit there and watch it as a fan, not like watching it back on film. Like he got a chance to watch your best shot as a fan. And to quote the great Bill Duke, like, you know you're the fucked up, right? Like,
Yeah.
this man got to watch you. Like, and then you go talk shit after. So yeah, bro.
Yeah, because they won the game. They won that game. I wasn't at that Billings game when we played them up here. That next week, they played Southwest Kansas. I came in around third quarter, and I could start seeing people head turning this, and that. And I'm just looking. I'm sitting there drinking a couple of brewskis, whiskeys, whatever they was giving me for free. I was like, hey, I'm taking all of that.
Right.
But I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at it, and I'm listening to what they saying. When they see me, they saying little slick stuff around me, knowing that I hear it. But I'm like, okay, you're going to eat all them words, bro. And it's going to hurt even more because you really think you got us. But you didn't get me. You beat the Salina Liberty, and yes, I was here. I wasn't there that game. Wasn't there. So I can say this year, that was some of the stuff that was said off the field is what motivated me through this year. It really was nothing that was done on the field that got me motivated.
The players having you back, because listen, I'm gonna go ahead. I spoke on it a little bit. I think I did a give me a minute about it when you won the whole thing. I can't remember because we've been so here and there, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I'll be in town Sunday and I'll be where I'm usually at. Not this Sunday, but Labor Day Sunday. Everybody knows where we're gonna be. I don't even live in Billings, and I would like to apologize on behalf of Billings, Montana, for trying to Chicago do. First and foremost, number one. Number two, Chris Turner and I did a podcast, and we warned y'all about that name. That's why that's sitting there. That's literally why. I've only had props on this show, for the last couple of shows. I got my little WWE shirt, so we were doing our SummerSlam show. My dad even listened to that. So we must be doing something right. My dad was, you signed a couple of geeks and we're good with it. Okay.
Doing your thing.
But to say those things to you to your face, you know what it made me think of when you were saying that? It reminded me why I got my fine in 2010 when I didn't want to come back, and I was a day late to that Sioux Falls game, and I played like shit that game on national television. That was the reason why I didn't want to come back. So yeah, let's get petty. That's why I didn't want to come back, because here I am out here, and the past is the past, and I don't judge anybody. I love everybody who went through what they went through, and things. 2010 was very specific to about 5 of us because we were there that entire offseason with everything that happened. It was you, it was Chris Dixon, it was Mike Bazemore, it was myself, because we were there every day, and they kept bashing us for things that had nothing. We were there to play football and do things for the kids. And those that did, they did what they had to do, and they have paid theirs, and they've been great citizens, and done their thing. And I remember feeling that, and I was like, I got here in 2009. And the things people would say to me, Same bar that I would go to every Thursday, because that was my cutoff. I had to get it all done by Thursday. On myself. I knew my cutoff was Thursday. And the things that would be said to me and what they would say about everybody else that was there, like it just, and then I went home to Chicago and I was like, why would I ever go back to that? Everybody here's like, man, you won a national championship up there. What's all that crazy stuff going on with the news? But dude, you a champ, you did that. I was like, yeah, I did that. I damn near made an NFL roster. I'm running 4.3 40s now. Coach O had me in the best shape I ever been in my entire football career, 27. Why do I want to go back? Everybody loves me here. I'm just going to stay here. And I was like, nah, you can't afford to stay here. Check my bank account. Tomorrow. I'll deal with the consequences. My bad. I fucked up. I'm coming back. So the fact that they would even be, it's one thing to talk some stuff to you, but I know for a fact, because I've lived there, I've been through it, when we won a championship, we were the reigning champions. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, to be that disingenuous to the guy that brought you, the only reason why people know where Billings is because of that game in 2009. How do you think you got Charles McCullough to play there? You think it was really, and no disrespect to Coach Schmidt, because I don't know him, and everything he went through, I feel bad for him. Well, let's clue you in, America. Charles McCullough was going to be our quarterback in 2011 had the Outlaws not folded. Because we knew Chris, and Chris was very well aware of that. He knew, well, who are they going to get when he made his decision? I was a part of that brain trust to get Chuck. I was going to be in the picture. So anybody, this is not even giving me anybody that was talking that stuff, all you gotta do with Coach O, this is how really how Chi-Town Cats work. All you gotta do is say my bad. You just say, hey, you know what? Yeah. The players should say those things. That's what they're supposed to do. And I'm good with that. You're supposed to feel that way about yourself. I could deal with the players. But if you've lived there and you were there in 09 and 10, and what we did, and especially if you were there in 06, they made a movie about y'all. That wasn't even my giving me. Oh, let's get to some more petty stuff. What was a better after party? 2009 Outlaws or 2022 Salina Liberty? Go ahead. You gotta pick one.
Oh, shoot, no. 2009 Outlaws after party way
all right,
lighter
Salina,
than what we
still
did
got
in
you.
2022.
Hey,
I mean,
Billings, I just brought you
2022
back.
was cool. It was cool, but it wasn't like 2000. Oh no. I mean, we did have the same amount of champagne. We did, but it wasn't like, it was not like Billings. That's why I say Billings got a special spot in my heart, because some of the best times I've ever had in my life was here. You know, and that was special right there, bro. I definitely remember that.
H, that's a double petty shot for two reasons. One, I wanted to give Billings some love back, because you know what I'm saying, like, hey, gotta get on y'all, shake that man's hand and beg that you can get an ownership group that might make him go, you know what, I don't need to drive 12 hours. Maybe I'll just coach my backyard again and I'll bring you on championships. And maybe you'll be able to play in the Metro next year instead of playing in the Sportsplex. That's what I've heard through the news. That's one. The other petty shot is that poor Chris Turner hurt himself. He missed everything.
Well, I'll say this. I got hurt. It is what it is. I did get hurt. I got hurt. Now, what came out of that was another part of my loyalty to one, make sure I brought my ass back, because I'm laid up in the hospital and like y'all out partying, having a good time, and like everybody patted me on the back and all that good shit.
Chris, 10 was the shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
no, I got no problem with
listen,
it. But like
Mom
the
Dukes was on the main
part
stage with me at 10. That was crazy.
The best part about it,
for a lot of reasons. But I'm sorry, dude, you missed 9. To this day, I've never seen anything like 9. I'm sorry. Dude. I love you, but I'm just gonna take my shot with it.
I got no problem with it because what happened in 09, I got hurt. I'm laid up in the hospital. You know you got money when you walk in the hospital with a bottle of liquor and a bottle of champagne and don't nobody stop you? And Mike P walked in with both. Walked in my room. Mind you, he ain't hiding it. It ain't no brown paper bag. It ain't tucked in.
Never
nowhere.
heard this. This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
This man walked in I'm laid up in the hospital bed, damn near in tears. He walked in there, bottle of champagne, bottle of Grey Goose. Put both of them in the bed, like, hey, you drink both of these as much as you want. And if anybody got a problem with it, they can call me. Thanks for the championship.
Shout out Mike P.
See, I never even knew that story.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Bruh, like
I never knew he came in there like that.
He's a real one,
hey,
man.
when I sit there and say that shit touched my heart, because this man like legitimately walked into the hospital like he owned it and was like, hey, you have a good damn time tonight. Like, thanks for the championship.
Oh,
Like,
man.
ain't nobody gonna tell you no or hey, put that away or nothing. All right, man, shit, like decent, I can drink it.
Hey, that's a boss right there. Boss move, bro.
Exactly. Like nobody,
Boss.
like he got it out and like, hey, oh, this your room?
Ain't
All
hiding
right,
it.
there you go. Man, please.
Yo, I love that. Hey, America, I just want to let you know.
Oh boy.
And then we'll get to these give me minutes because I know we all got wives and got things to do. But this is an opportunity for a guy that, in my opinion, is one of the most humble dudes I've ever met. And everybody that's ever played for him, whether it's good or bad with him, because trust me, he's had to deal with some good and bad, but I promise you that 90% has circled back to him and understands that he has always put his players first. The term players coach is thrown around quite a bit in sports, guys. I swear that's not gonna give me a minute because I'm gonna get through this so we can get to that because we got more stuff to. I think everybody was get a little bit more petty in a little couple minutes. But oh man, thanks for taking this time, man. Thank you for letting us take this time capsule. I swear, like, because I think these moments, man, like they matter. And I tell you all the time whenever we talk how much you matter. Yeah, I'm watching my wife right now. She's doing air squats right now. And I don't meet my wife without Coach O. Chris Turner doesn't meet his wife without throwing Justin Romo over that wall. I think that's what Aris was like. Who's 99? You can fact check that with Aris. But this is why you needed this moment. Because so many other guys and players and coaches I've seen have gotten to have this moment. And I've always seen you take the opportunity. And the things that you do post that I'm fortunate enough to see and be a part of is a millisecond of fracture of the amount of time you put in. You've been in this game coaching, if I'm correct, since 2004. Was when you DC'd down in Wyoming.
Yep.
18 years. How many times have you actually had somebody really go, you know what, let's take an hour and a half and let you at least get some stuff off your chest in 18 years?
You guys have been the only one that I've ever had that happen, at least for this long. I did have Color 8 this year, did do a story on me that they ran here in Billings.
Shout out Chris Byers.
Yeah, that's my dude. He did it big for me. It was the first time my daughter saw the inside of the TV station. So it was good. I would say that opportunity there. And then, you know, the little things that you do for the league and things of that nature. But far as specifically focus on me, you guys have done it 2 or 3, 4 different times with this different podcast. And then, like I said, Chris Byers, that's the only time that's ever happened for me to just talk about this type stuff. And that be the topic, and it doesn't have anything to do with any team. It was really cool to get that opportunity to be with him as well as to be with you guys. I mean, that's the ultimate sign that you're doing something correct, is when you got former players that got their own life going on. Like you said, you got wives, keep doing your thing. To take time out of y'all busy schedule, y'all work, to say, hey, Coach O, I know you at the crib. You got a little second, we could chat it up and put all this type stuff out. So I do appreciate it. And that does let me know that I'm doing this thing and I'm doing it for the right reason. I'm not doing it to be rich, even though that's everybody's goal is to be rich, but it pays the bills. I am a humble dude. My parents have taught me that because it could all be taken away from you like it was 2016. It just disappeared for
Never
4
been
months. It
about
was
you,
the
man.
first time.
That's a fact.
And I just want to thank you guys. Like I always thank my players. I thank my players that go out there in the game to win these games for me. I mean, you like I said, you could call the X's and O's all you want. It's like Bill Parcells said in his book. It's not always about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. And it's not just about winning games. It's about the lives you fucking touch. So I'm definitely happy that you guys have used your platform. That your podcast been going for a minute now. So it's starting to do some things, and
At some point,
I'm glad.
At some point, Chris,
If you're still around, if you still around after all these years, bro, somebody watching, somebody supporting, and for you guys to have this platform to even think of me, I really, really thank both of you guys, man. And I saw Chris a couple of weeks ago at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I seen Mania the same day. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like we were all in there at the same time. So it's good to be back here in Billings, Montana. Like I say, I live here. I love the city. I love the fans. I love going into different spots, and like my daughter gets the biggest kick out of it. She's like, "You're famous," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like we'll go different places, about pay for our drinks or pay for our meals, or come up and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And you like, she always like, "Who was that?" And I'm like, "I have no idea who that was, but hey, they know who you are, man. You must be something." So Billings has always showed that
Shout
love.
out Billings, man.
And I definitely respect it, of what they've done since I've left as well. I mean, I'm just thankful that they do have a team here, and hopefully they get it back right and get that thing going, because Billings does deserve a football team, and hopefully they get that done, bro.
Love it. I love it. That's a perfect segue, Chris. We're obviously not going to make Coach O go first for his give me a minute, so he gets another that. Oh, this is what I'm saying. Like, all your soliloquies are going to be beautiful, and you're going to have this archive forever. Not only on YouTube, but we're going to have this because you was hilarious tonight. And we're going to let him get back to what he really loves to do. I'm going to go ahead and just put that disclaimer out there, Chris, because we get into our points where we in camp now. This is what O really loves to do in the offseason. He loves to talk about the game he loves. So we'll get him back. He's going to have that Liberty shirt. Gonna have championship rings hanging all over the place. He might do his whole conversation like this. So really, that's how I feel about Lamar Jackson today, James. Like, this is really how I feel, Walt. Like, which one of us is going first and give me a minute?
I'm gonna knock it out, bro, because I'm gonna make mine nice and sweet.
Okay.
So America.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, whoa.
Ooh, okay.
He ain't playing.
Give me a minute. 2008, I was fresh off of a loss in Arena Football Championship and all that, and I went home. I was about to sign a big contract for the SaberCats and all this other nonsense, and came back to camp. And I've told the story 1,000 times, man, but came back to camp, league going forward, whatever. Reed came out and got me, whatever. End up in Billings, Montana. With Coach O, man, I found, because at Alabama, I lost it. Florida State, I lost it. Like, that love of the game. And, like, Coach O helped me find that love back of the game. And mind you, just like with your daughter now, like, we'll go places now and be out, and, like, people are asked, like, "Oh, man, were you one of the outlaws?" So, well, yeah, I was one of the older ones. Oh, yeah, that was the good ones. And they'll buy drinks and foods. Like, my kid loves it and everything else, because she was just a thought at that time, and she didn't know anything about it. But like, you helped me get that love of the game back. Because mind you, I've been playing football since I'm from Florida. So you play tackle football starting at 5. Shit, you out there. Like, it is what it is. And like, you got me to get that love back, because I didn't have it in San Jose. God, I lost it in Chicago and everything else. But like, that time spent here, like, it got me that same love I had back in high school and everything else. Like, when, yeah, the money's around, and yeah, the girls and the partying and the drinking and all that, but like, you got me that love back of the game, man. and I sincerely appreciate it, and I love you to death for it. And like I said, I can only hope for many more championships to come for you. So America, that's been my minute.
Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate that, bro. Definitely appreciate it. It's good to see you and your family out here too, man, doing your thing.
Hey,
All right, it's up to you. Do you want to have the middle give me a minute? Or you like, you know what? I got to have to give me a minute that's going to close this where I'm going to get, a couple more minutes.
I'm going to say this. I don't have much more to say. I'd rather you close it out the only way that Mr. Saturday Night can close it out.
Oh, man.
Because I know you're going to close it and put a good ribbon on top of this damn thing the way it needs to be done, bro.
Man, well, damn. Well, there's the pressure. Chris, Chris Turner actually kept it under a minute. So here we go. Coach, bring your water. All right. Well, I guess I better close this out. This better be a triumphant 1-6. All right, here we go. America. In a minute. Well, here we are, America. Like I said, a 12-year odyssey. Told Coach O what the title of this show was going to be months ago, and I think he might remember when I say this. And we're going to call this show, it's going to be politically correct and correct, but 12 years in indoor football slate.
Oh, boy.
So I've either canceled us right now or I just got us into LOL Network with Kevin Hart. It's one of the two. I don't know how it's going to work. So
oh, boy.
Here's the bottom line when it comes to this, and it's going to stay very centric to Haroun O'Neal. When it comes down to it, I had the beauty of being with this guy in the highest of the highs of myself in my career, because the highest of the highs I ever had as a football player when I started playing as a teenager to when I was finished at about 30, Jesus, I played way too long. 34-ish, I was still messing around and getting a check. My greatest years were playing with him. And if I can sum up Coach O'Neal in certain words, the words he told me as I disrespected him and Chris Dixon and Robert Reed for the months I did, because I was just emotionally going through stuff that I worked out. Funny, I worked it out in Billings, playing games, catching touchdowns. Thanks for that, Coach O. Coach O, I never forget he told me that, yeah, you are arguably the best player in the league, but I can make you better. So that's why I wanted to dig into like different things about how he was able to understand who he was talking to, no matter who he was. I've seen him be very combative with certain players, and it worked.
Yeah.
What the F are you doing? There were times where Coach O, and it seemed to be always after a Colorado game, I'd never played well in that stadium. I just never did until I played for him in Colorado. And then I almost broke my neck for you. So I just never played well in that stadium. I don't know what it was about that place. But there were times where Coach O would just give me a look and he would know. And I would look at him and I'd go like, yeah, I'll see you next week. And I think every time we played in Colorado, the next week I'd catch 3 touchdowns. But I think to sum it really all up when it comes to him and what we're always going to continue and shine and do. I was actually just pulling up a list. Chris went so quick, that I couldn't pick it up. But I just need people to understand when we're talking about things like the Hall of Fame and the players that are in this Hall of Fame, that it is not what it is conceived. And I also want it to be known, like, honestly, for me, like it's really no disrespect to those that we've gone against, we've played with. But as I'm looking at this list, guys, and Carl Sims is one of my favorite players, and that's a whole conversation that the three of us could do We could add Chris Dixon in there. We could add Brian Craig. All of us were touched by C4. Carl Sims is a Hall of Famer because of Coach O'Neill. Bottom line.
Facts.
That's one. Ron O'Neill, that would be 2 under Coach O, because Coach O got himself in there. I go to the next year. Mania Smith. I love the fact that his picture, at least on the website, is a Billings outlaw. Mania Smith. That is a Hall of Famer that Coach O brought into this league. That's 3. Charlie Sanders. That is a Hall of Famer that Coach O brought into this league. I know that he won those championships in Sioux Falls after us. But Charlie Sanders was given an opportunity to be the greatest center in the history of this league through Coach O. That's
Facts.
I keep rolling. Who am I missing? Tom Wigley. Coach O touched that. I don't think Tom Wigley gets into the Hall of Fame without Coach O having an MVP, having a most improved player. All that happened under Coach O. 5. And the guy that really, really matters in all this, the greatest of all time. I always let him decide where he wants to be in classified. He has 6 titles in indoor football. He won 3 in Sioux Falls. He's got 3 in Billings. And his greatest season that he ever had was 2009. And I know that because I was there. And he and I can go back and forth and have a ball about it. That's one of my best friends. But I know for a fact that Haran O'Neal does not get the flowers that he deserves. And unfortunately for me, because I don't know how to work Facebook and some of these things where I would turn some stuff off, I have to read half of the foolishness that I read. Coach O said in the beginning, and I'm going to say it now. Our teams are the beginning of that league, and we were what's measured. We're always going to respect the fact that everybody believes the league started in 2011. We're fine with that. We really are. We honestly are. I'm fine with it. I am. Because I've just come to that point that life is the way it is. But the fact that our architect got his love in 2021 is the reason why this show, we know is for the people. We know it had to do with this show. And oh, I love you to death. And I love you because you gave all of us an opportunity to do what any football player wants to do. Be yourself. All I'm going to ask you to do is be the best of your ability. And you had enough old school in you to be a new school coach to go. But if you don't give it to me.
So you wasn't there with Marcus Johnson, my first year here. Like he always say, they fly in, they fly out. You come in, you come out. But you gonna do what Coach O say do.
100%. Hey, listen, listen, one of the best Coach O lines of all time. Listen, Greyhound runs every day. And I'll close with this as stories that I've told people, but I like putting it here, and then it'll be the end of my give me a minute. America, as I've talked about on the show, like we have gone through COVID. This thing's been crazy, but this is not the first time we've been through this. The swine flu hit Billings rough. And when I say rough, Coach O had the MVP of the league and the unanimous first team wide receiver get the swine flu within 24 hours of each other, preparing for the conference championship to go to the finals. And this is Coach O. This is the guy you run through a wall. Earlier in that season, we had that Sioux Falls practice, Chris, where I went up in the stands and then I got tetanus.
Cut your arm all
I cut
up.
my arm off for Coach O. And here I am, arguably the second best player in the league. Because there, you gotta throw Landry in there, you gotta throw Bays in there. Clinton Solomon had a hell of a year. Like it was a race for who number 2 was. Charles Anthony was phenomenal that year.
Ridiculous.
A lot of the number 2 players behind Chris, who was just lights out the whole year, like lights out. And here I am, Thursday practice. This sums up Coach O when you talk about a player's coach. And I'm running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Oh my God. I have got to show these guys. I've been in a mask for 2 days. I've been watching. I haven't been practicing every day. I haven't been doing anything. And I'm over here running around and I'm just winded, Chris. I'm dog tired, but I'm taking every rep. And Coach O came over to me the Thursday practice. And he looked at me, I'm just drenching sweat. Because you know I wore sweatpants in practice, either way.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, well, you got the job, man. I need you on Saturday. I know you've been sick for 4 days. Dude, you're good. I'm not going to release you. America, that is a sign of a great coach when he knows my most flamboyant, outrageous player is one of the hardest working guys on this team and hated to miss a rep. That is a legacy of Coach O. And I will tell that to any player because he will have this snippet. This is why I want you to have this so you can always fast forward to this. Any player that ever plays for this man, all he's going to ask you to do is the same thing he would do himself.
Right.
And when a guy who still has a record 13 years later that has not even come close to being broken in a league tells you that he practiced his ass off like it was week 2 of the season before the conference championship, you need to listen to them because they both said it. I'm one of the greatest to ever do this. And I will vouch for this guy always. These are 2 guys I take bullets for. That's who Coach O is. Run through a wall is an understatement. I got the motherfucking Superman that saved this motherfucker. Because that's how much he has left to give. It's been my minute.
Hey, so
Appreciate that.
America,
That's dope.
as always, we always appreciate Coach O, man, because if it wasn't for him, a lot of this shit wouldn't be happening right now.
Wouldn't be
in
no
the
us
league.
without him.
That's a big fact. So with all that being said, appreciate you, Coach O, man. God bless you. I wish for and I hope for many more championships to come. But now that the screwball done started kicking, and I gotta go be a parent for a second in this shit, as I always do. I want to send a special shout out to 9 Round Fitness. Corey Willis got a big fight coming up here soon.
Let's go, Corey.
Shouts out to him. Shouts out to Rebel Coffee. I'm actually gonna stop by in the morning to grab
That
me
is
one.
our official sponsor. We have a coffee sponsor. That's
I don't even
happening.
really
Congrats.
drink coffee like that, but I'm gonna stop by, take pictures with Rebel Coffee in the morning, all that good stuff. And big shouts out to my big dog Walt. I don't give my dog his flowers enough, but I appreciate my dog. And like he always a phone call away with like, hey man, what you think about this, that, and the third? And he always got my back with it. So big shouts out to the homie and all that good stuff. But the same question I asked you tonight, it's the same question I ask you all the time. And what is that, Walt?
What's good, America?
What's good, America?